Well, hi everybody. The whole gang is here. Okay. Well, that's great. Congrats. Okay, so today we have this riddle. What does Taylor Swift, the movie Home Alone, and dancing, and yes, I know we're at a Church of Christ, and dancing have to do with God? And if this doesn't get me excommunicated by the elders, I don't know what will. Okay, so we'll see. So I need to let you know, I am not a Swiftie, but every woman in my house is, and that's all I hear. And I tried to avoid some of this because Swifties. She started dating Kessover, and suddenly all these Swifties became football experts. And having my daughter start to try and tell me about football, I'm like, no, do not go here. For years, I've been trying to get you to watch football with me, and now you only do it because she's dating some football player. I'm like, no. Okay, so Taylor Swift. And I could not put down everything relating to the number 13 because I came to find out that Swifties take this stuff seriously. I mean, they can do entire PhD theses on 13 and how this relates to Taylor Swift. And some of the machinations they go through to get there is just, yeah. Imagination, that's a good word. I was thinking cult, but no, no, this is just some of it, okay? So her Twitter account is Taylor Swift 13, which has 13 characters, by the way, okay? The 1989, the physical CD comes with 13 Polaroids of her. In 2018, she won 13 awards. She was born on the 13th. She has various songs that I'm sure she's set up to have, the 10-minute version of All Too Well is actually 10 minutes and 13 seconds. Okay, so it's everywhere. 13, okay? So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Taylor Swift has somehow discovered new insights into the Psalms. That's not correct. But this numerology aspect of it that Swifties are doing is actually something we see in Judaism and in Hebrew. In Judaism, there's a thing called gematria, because every letter in Judaism, in the Jewish alphabet, goes with a corresponding number. And so different words with different letters add up certain things, and they have specific meanings in Judaism. So, for example, 13 is an age of a Jewish male has his bar mitzvah. Okay, Israel, Jacob had 13 children, and according to gematria, the word for the words we're talking about here, love has 13 numbers here, and so does unity. So 13 represents love and both unity. Okay, and this is just a way of sort of leading up to the fact to say, my current favorite psalm is Psalm 13. Now, I'm sure we could ask all of you what's your favorite psalm, and I'm sure there's some psalms that you've memorized. Probably not Psalms 119, okay? But you've probably memorized some shorter ones. Their psalms are broken up into different groups. One aspect in Judaism is what's called a life psalm. And what a life psalm is this. The idea in Judaism is, when you die on your deathbed, you should have one of two sets of words that you are reciting, that you die with on your lips. One is the Shema. Hear, O Israel. Adonai our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's name. His glorious kingdom is forever and ever. And you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. This is the Shema. And so under Judaism, it said it's a good idea to die with this on your lips. Or you can die with your life psalm. Now, the life psalm is the one that is most you relate to. It's the one that means the most to you. And supposedly, no one's going to know what it is until you die. And by the way, the life psalm of Jesus was Psalm 22. Go back and take a look at it. It was his last words. Yep. Okay. So, Psalms have different structures and meaning. We're looking today at Psalm 13. How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle with my thoughts and day after day have sorrow in my heart? How long will my enemy triumph over me? Look on me and answer, Lord my God. Give light to my eyes, or I will sleep in death. My enemies will say, I have overcome him, and my foes will rejoice when I fall. But I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation, and I will sing the Lord's praise, for he has been good to me. That's what we're going over today. Now, there's a couple different Psalms types. One group is called a Psalm of Orientation. These are the happy, happy, joy, joy Psalms, okay? These are the ones that come from a sense of well-being. You got a lot of gratitude for the blessings God's given you. Things are coming up roses. Man, this is great, God. Sense of security. I can do anything. You know, me and God, that's a majority, okay? And so everything's going well. Then there's the songs of disorientation. It comes from seasons of suffering, alienation, death. Okay? This has a tone of anger, self-pity, depression, resentment, fear, anxiety. Then you've got the new orientation. This is a surprise breakthrough, the gift from God. You're going, hey, whoa, wasn't expecting this. You were in the pit, but now you've been rescued. You were in despair, but now you have joy. Okay? So which one do you think Psalm 13 is? Yeah, I got to go with disorientation. It has that little upward tick at the end. He's got some hope, but he doesn't see the end yet. This is disorientation. What am I supposed to do in light? Because it opens up really hard. How long, O Lord? This phrase shows up a lot in the disorientation Psalms. I don't get it, God. Why is this happening to me? It takes a lot from Job. Job says this a lot. You know, how long, O God? How long before you rise up? This also comes up in Revelations. When the martyrs keep asking God, how long are you going to wait? How long are you going to be patient before you rise up, give some punishment, and we have some justice? How long? There's this expectation that God should and must do something right now because I can't take this much more. You felt that before? You know, God, I'm at the end of my rope. We sort of make a joke at it sometime. I know God will not allow me to face more than I can deal with. I just wish He didn't trust me so much. Okay? There's this expectation that something has to change while simultaneously you're in fear that it's not going to. That God knows that you're stronger than you believe you are. And you really don't want to deal with that. For any of you who have ever been in the military, military recruitment is an all-time low. Young kids today are going to go to the military. I mean, the thought of them having to get outside, leave their video games, and get outside and see that bright thing in the sky called the sun and get, you know, a free tanning session through the courtesy of the United States military. You never realized what you could do until you had a drill sergeant screaming in your face who could care less how you felt. And it's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And if you talk to anybody in the military, they will tell you what happens in the military during your training, initial training. If you show any self-pity or resentment or pushback, you get to do great jobs such as mopping up the rain. Did you come in when the rain was coming down? Yeah, they'll give you a task to send out a mop and bucket. Don't come up until you've mopped up all the water. Okay? Or sweep the sunshine. Because if it's not, you know, drill instructors are incredibly creative. Okay? And suddenly, after going through all that, you realize, good grief, I'm capable of doing far more than I realized. And you look back at it fondly to realize how much you can do. But at the time, You're like, I'm glad I don't have anything that I can commit murder with because I'd take out this drill instructor. And sometimes we have that same feeling with God. God, do something. And then there's a fear is he's not going to because I can take more and I really don't want to. We don't know when David wrote this. We know David wrote this psalm, but we don't know when. So I'm not inspired, but I want to give you this picture. I want you to picture David wandering around. King Saul is after him with the entire Israelite army. Okay? I mean, at least right now, if you're a Hamas operative, you've got the entire Israelite army at you, going at you, but they're going after lots of people. But this was the entire army, King Saul, one guy, David, bring him back to me, dead. And David keeps going around. And I can picture David in the wilderness, walking around. He's a tough guy. He's been taking it. He took out Goliath. And he's been having these little mental discussions in his head. That's okay, God's with me. He helped me take down Goliath. He helped me take down the bear. He helped me take down the lion. I can do this. I can do this. And it just keeps going on and on and on. And I can see him walking around. And then he just snaps. And he just starts yelling, God, how much longer? Haven't I been doing this long enough? How much longer are you going to do this? I've had enough already. I didn't do anything wrong. Why am I having to go through this? Because I don't know how much more I can take. Have you ever felt that way? Somebody screwed you over at work. You've got enemies you didn't realize. You maybe lost your job. You've got cancer. You've been told you got health problems. You're concerned about their kids because they're struggling. Or they're making decisions that you know where it's going to lead, but of course they're not going to listen to you. Or you're struggling in your marriage. Or you're struggling with your friends. Or a myriad of things are going on. You may be feeling it right now. I am. And so you look at this psalm and you're going, at the very least, you can look at a psalm like this and go, well, somebody got it. Somebody knows how I feel. Okay? So, if you haven't felt this way, congratulations. But as a statistics professor, I would tell you you're an outlier. And odds are it will still happen. Okay? So even if you can't relate to this right now, you might just want to listen and tuck it away sometime for future reference. Now, the word forget. How long will you forget me, O God? There's two words for forget in Judaism. Okay? One is nashah, which is a sense of neglect. Willful abandonment. It's when lovers break up and go on. And you feel like you've just been abandoned. Now for you young people, this may be difficult for you to understand because young people don't break up anymore. Not like what we're talking about here. Oh yes, we've broken up, but we still text and we still check each other's Instagram and all this stuff because I can't just leave. Oh, I can't believe they're saying so-and-so and blah, blah, blah. It's not like us. We are gone, okay? I'm not taking any phone calls. You know, the phone rings. Somebody in your family picks it up. You know, it's so-and-so. They want to talk to you. Tell them I'm not here, okay? We broke up. We stayed away. But not this generation, okay? So this may be difficult to understand, but this is willful abandonment. No, I do not want to see you again, okay? I have broken up with you, and I've begun dating your former roommate. That was my second fiance. Yeah. Great. Third time's charm, see? Yeah, that was the second one. Okay. So, shakah is the word that's used in this psalm. It is more like misplaced. You can't locate. Okay? In Israel, the literal translation for the movie Home Alone uses this word. In English, it literally means misplaced myself at the home. So, The Home Alone movie was just shakah in Israel, okay? And by the way, just as a side note, how many of you have seen the movie Home Alone? How many of you laughed at the movie Home Alone? My wife and I, when we began dating, I took her to see Home Alone. Everyone in the theater is laughing uproariously, but my wife was just finishing up her residency in medicine. And I discovered that you don't take a doctor to slapstick comedy. Because my wife was going, boom, they get hit in there, subdural hematoma, he'd be in the hospital for 3 weeks. And I'm like, oh, it's okay. Slip, 3 vertebrae break, he'd be paralyzed. I'm like, it's not real. And the entire movie is a running discussion to me about what medical problems will be going on, and I'm just like, do I really want to keep going with this? What is this what I got to live with the rest of my life? And the answer to that was yes, it was. So, like when we first got married, and I'm just about to fall asleep, and she pokes me, and I'm like, what? She goes, do you usually breathe that fast when you're sleeping? I'm like, what? Is something wrong? What? No, nothing's wrong. Nothing to worry about. Why are you asking me that then? Nothing. I'm about to go sleep, and it's just, you've got a doctor's appointment next month. You might want to bring that up. So the rest of the night, I'm just lying there going, what is this? This is the reason men don't like going to doctors. But anyway, this is Home Alone. This is the word that's there. Now, please understand, his parents misplaced him. It's not like they were rejecting him. It's not like they were going, we don't want you anymore. We are leaving for Europe because we're going to leave you here, and hopefully you won't be here when we get back. They had misplaced him. Now, it was accidental. Now, God doesn't accidentally lose us, okay? But I'm trying to give you a sense of that. They were distraught. They were trying to get back. Now, from his perspective, because remember the movie, this is before cell phones, right? So mom and dad couldn't immediately call him and say, oh, this situation, all this. He had to deal with things on his own without an adult presence. This is why you and I view the world differently than these kids growing up today who any problems like just call an adult. Okay? He had to deal with it. Now, from his perspective, did he know that he had been accidentally misplaced? Or did it feel just the same as if his parents had said, yeah, we don't want him, we're out of here? Did it feel exactly the same way? Yep. Even though the reality was they were desperately trying to get home to get him. But how he felt was the same. Now, it's the same as God's warning in people in Deuteronomy. When you get to the land and times are good, don't associate with bad people because then you will forget me. You will lose sight of me. You treasured me and then you will lose sight of me. You will misplace me because you got other things on your mind. In this psalm, it's not like God has thrown the psalmist out, but he does feel misplaced. Now, does that perspective help you in the midst of pain? Just like the kid in Home Alone, he felt the same regardless of what was going on. Nashash, she left me and she's never coming back. I'll never love anyone again. My life is over. For those of us who went through breakups, we know how that feels. You try and think differently. Remember this one from the 70s? If you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it never was. I don't know if I want to let you talk. No, don't. You'll blow it. Don't. See, this is why I said I don't think I'm going to let you talk. Okay? Now, this is what people said in the 70s, and probably, for you girls, if you had breakups, someone told you this, etc. Guys view things differently. Okay? So, when I had my first major breakup, my friends gave me this. Because that's how I felt about it. And guys are very supportive, and we help one another in different ways. So my second fiance, the one that broke up with me the week before Valentine's and started dating my former roommate, well, I was in graduate school at the time, and I'm lifting weights, and I had a mental block at bench pressing 200 pounds. And so I'm starting to lift the first day after I find this, and my friends who were there gathered to support me. I start struggling with this, and the guy spotting me just leaned over and said, She never loved you. Ah! He's like, good. Put on some more weight. I'm like, how much weight? Don't worry about it. And I start struggling again. He's like, he's holding her right now. Ah! And this is how my friend supported me. And I got done, and I'm like, did I break 200? And like, dude, you just did 3 sets of 10 at 230. You're doing great. This, by the way, is a great workout trick. So the next time any of you get slammed by whoever you're dating or whatever, use that. You can really lift a whole lot of weight. It works well. Okay? Now, the perspective doesn't help you in the midst of pain. Shakai, you didn't really throw me out, but it still feels the same in Nasha. It does feel the same, and your response to that pain will be the same, unless one thing. You trust in God. The end of that song, David is feeling, God, I don't know if you've forgotten me. I don't know if you've abandoned me. I don't know if you've misplaced me, but it all feels the same to me. And I'm losing it. But I'll hope. Because I know your love is unfailing. And you tell yourself, God may be busy. God may be on his phone. And I put that very specifically. Because smartphones have actually exacerbated our anxiety. Before we got smartphones, when you called someone, they weren't there. And you left either A, nobody was there to take a message. B, we started getting, you could leave a message on the answering machine, which my father refused to do. Because I'm not talking to some machine. If it's important, you'll call me later. I'm like, just leave me a message, Dad. He's like, no. Okay, so he refused to talk to the machine. So you'd leave a message, or you just have to call back, right? That was it. Now, you'd think everybody's got a cell phone. We're in instant communication. This should help everybody. No, it doesn't. Young people know exactly what I'm talking about. You text your friend. Do they immediately text back? Oh no. What's wrong? They're upset at me. They're angry. I must be being left out of something. What have I done wrong? Oh no. But. And you check. Did they check it? Oh no, they've seen the message. Oh no, and they haven't responded and they've seen the message. Something's really wrong now. They're really wrong to me. Let me check all their online feeds. Yeah, they're with somebody. They're not with me. Right? So this is what anxiety just keeps going up. Okay? And it ties into us. We talk to God and we want instantaneous response because we get instantaneous response on those phones of ours. And God's going, I don't think so. Because instantaneous is not what changes you for the long term. Lifting weights, if I had just broken through at that weight at 200 pounds at one time because I was angry at my former fiance and never lifted weights again, I wouldn't have achieved any results. I had to keep going. I had to keep inflicting pain on myself to do it. And God knows the same thing. If I respond instantaneously, you won't actually change. And I'd love to sit here and tell you that all of us, as some young people believe today, that we're all just born good. Everybody's good. Just some people go bad. Well, if we're all born good, that's all going to go out of these young people's minds once they have children. Because if we're all born good, why do you have to keep telling your kid, don't hit your brother? Share your toys. Say thank you. Okay? No. Wait, why do we got to keep telling the kids, don't do this, don't do this? Because we're not born good. And I'd love to be able to tell you that all it takes for you to change your life and do what it is to have a smarter, wiser person tell you, you need to do this. That makes perfect sense. I will exactly do that starting now. No, we don't. It requires pain. It requires doing it our way and keep smacking our head up against the wall until we're like, I don't want to do that. My oldest, when she was little, had her first real tantrum. And I told her no, and she goes in to the corner of where the cabinets are, and she smacks her forehead up against it, and looks at me like, see what I'm going to do? And I'm like, yeah, the answer's still no, and that's not going to end well. And she just smack, and looks at me, and I'm like, yep, still no. Smack that third time. Ah! Next day, same situation. Told her no. She goes to hit her forehead. She stops. She turns around, smacks the back of her head onto it. And I said, yeah, it's going to delay the end result a little bit, but the end result's still going to be the same, honey. That's how we are. God, I want your results now. I want it now. Fix me now. And God's going, I would, but you won't. You have to go through this. And it's not like I want this to happen, but I got to because I love you. And you won't change any faster. Okay? Somebody had their hand up. I'm sorry. Somebody had their hand up. Larry? Did I miss you? I'm sorry. Uh-oh. Yes. Statement Larry made, for those of you online, was we should not respond to our kids immediately when they text us. We should teach them to wait. And that's true. We should get... My youngest daughter does online development and marketing for Yeti. And a while back, we were having lunch together at this burger place and looked up, and there was a music video playing. And she looked up and said, music videos, those are dying. And I said, why? She goes, nobody has time to watch a music video. And I said, what? Remember when MTV came out in 1982? And all the adults then were saying, it's going to destroy these kids. They're not going to have an attention span and all this. And I literally, that all just came flooding back to me, hearing all that. And I'm going, here's my daughter telling me, oh no, we don't have time to watch a 2-minute music video. That's too much time. TikToks, just give us 30 seconds. You know, we can't absorb anything above 15 to 30 seconds. And I'm going, here we go. You know, all those naysayers in 1982 were right. Okay. So, there's a larger truth that the psalmist believes in and trusts in. How long will you hide your face from me? I can't make you appear to me. I can't make you show me your face. Are you hiding from me? Are you running from me? Is this a game of peekaboo? This is how you're feeling. And it's why you call out to God. God, how long is this going to take? The first time this word for hide showed up actually shows up in Genesis, and it's reversed. It's Cain telling God, don't do this, because then I will be hidden from you. He's saying, my guilt. I killed my brother. You told me, you warned me, I did it anyway. And if you send me away, I won't be able to talk to you. My guilt. How can I live without this? This is the first time it appeared. You know when you have a friend who isn't talking to you, and you're asking how long it's going to take for them to get back to me. You know, are they upset at me? Did I do something wrong? Do I need to do something different? Okay. Or if you're married, you're thinking something's wrong, and you ask your spouse, are you okay? I'm fine. Which definitely means you're in trouble. Okay? And all of us who've been married long enough know that tone long enough to go, well, if you'll just let me go to my room, I will sit by myself for a long period of time and think about what I've done until I figure out what I've done and figure out what I need to apologize for and all this. In reality, what you're doing is, I'm just going to stay up there long enough and hopefully she'll get over whatever it is that I've supposedly done, and then maybe we can talk, and I don't know, but I'm just trying to avoid an argument, and yeah. But you know something's wrong, and you don't know how to fix it. And we feel this way with God. When we feel isolated and alone, moments feel like an eternity. That's why the psalm says, how long will you hide your face from me? How long will you leave me with my thoughts? Because when you're feeling depressed and anxious, a moment feels like an eternity. And it just feeds on itself. And it just gets worse. We talked about Lamentations last week. The people are lamenting because their nation has been destroyed, because their nation sinned. Their nation forgot about God. And sometimes God hides his face from us because we have sinned. And sometimes we need to think about that. Part of this is, okay, maybe I have done something wrong. Maybe I do need to get my act together. The prodigal son got his life together when he came back and he walked up to his dad and said, I'm not worthy to be your son, forgive me. And his father's also forgiven. But the father didn't go find the son in the pigsty and say, all is forgiven. He's like, nope. You have to come to this realization yourself and then come to me. So, but with that, Ezekiel 39 says this, I will display my glory among the nations, and all the nations will see the punishment I inflict in the hand I lay on my nation. From that day forward, the people of Israel will know that I am the Lord their God. And the nations will know that the people of Israel went into exile for their sin because they were unfaithful to me. So I hid my face from them and handed them over to their enemies, and they all fell by the sword. And I dealt with them according to their uncleanness and their offenses, and I hid my face from them. Sometimes God punishes us for due reason. We just don't want to accept it. Punishment's for the other guy, not me. I had my reasons. And God's like, nope. But still, even in that situation, there's hope. Because this is replied to in Isaiah. For your Maker is your husband. The Lord Almighty is your name. The Holy One of Israel is your Redeemer. He is called the God of all the earth. The Lord will call you back. As if you were a wife deserted and distressed in spirit, a wife who married young, only to be rejected, as says your God. For a brief moment I abandoned you, but with deep compassion I will bring you back. In a surge of anger I hid my face from you for a moment, but my everlasting kindness I will have compassion on you, says the Lord your Redeemer. Remember Cal Ripken? Okay. Costner, the actor. Cal Ripken was having a great baseball season until he happened to come home one day and found Costner in bed with his wife. And there was a surge of anger. Okay? And God is saying, as a nation, you sinned against me, and I was angry. And I punished you, but I will take you back, even then. So this exile has two different levels. The nation faced exile, and most of the people were sinful and forgot God. But guess what? There were still people in Israel that had done everything right. They didn't do anything. And they got exiled too. And so our refrain, like the refrain of all of us since kindergarten, will be, but it's not fair. But they got exiled too. And so like the Coen Brothers, a movie, A Serious Man, the main character keeps saying, but I didn't do anything. Yeah? Job says I didn't do anything, and then immediately asks God why he is hiding his face from me. Sometimes, to be perfectly blunt, there is no direct cause and effect. There's no mathematical formula I can give you of when God will show up. Now he does this because I'm not God. And his ways are above our ways. But this psalm acknowledges that, and it acknowledges the feelings. There's no direct relationship, but Psalm 139 expresses the exact opposite idea. Where can I go where you're not? You hem me in before and behind me. You are everywhere. Your love encompasses me. It's the happy, happy, joy, joy psalm. But I just point out to you, I'm an eternal optimist. But we can jump to the God is everywhere psalm too quick. And just like our punishment has to go through time before we'll change, if you're in the midst of depression and despair and anxiety, jump into happy, happy, joy, joy, for many people, ain't going to do anything. So what can you do for them? Well, one thing I will state this, is we as Christians better do the following. We better acknowledge the visible absence of God at times in the world. When people see this injustice, where is God? Where is your God here? We better acknowledge that if we want them to listen to us when we're pointing out, look, here's where we see where God was. Because there is pain, and Scripture accepts that. The reality is, everything this psalm discusses is subjective. How much you fear is going to be a function of you. How much you despair is going to be a function of you. If you've dealt with mental health issues for yourself or with others, you will realize there's no rhyme or reason to when God shows up or doesn't show up, or how people feel or how they respond to anything you're saying. So how do you interact and help them? Grief is a dance. You've got to deal with the other person. You've got to see where they are and how they are responding. Okay? Let's see if this shows. It may not. It's not. Okay. So we'll do the following. Here's your homework assignment. You are to go home and watch White Christmas. And there's a clip in White Christmas where they're saying the best things happen while you're dancing. And by dancing, I'm not talking about modern day dancing, twerking and having sex on the dance floor. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about real dancing, like they were doing there. And the key about dancing is, guess what? The majority of time you're going around in circles. Right? But you don't end up in the same place you started. Right? This is the best way to describe this verse. I want you to think about this. When it comes to Psalm 13 and how you're feeling, we are not in a three-legged race with God where we're strapped in and the goal is to reach this goal line ahead of everybody else. That's not what's going on here. Okay? It's dancing like in the movie. Okay? It's not where you get to somewhere, it's relational. And if you notice very clearly at the end of that dance sequence, Danny Kaye's on one leg and she's dancing around him, and she actually trips over his leg. Her foot catches his leg. And she still performs flawlessly and ends up where she's supposed to. And the point is, when we interact with God, I don't know how fast He'll be responding, but He will. And that interplay, that dance between our searching for God and Him responding to us, our grief and our hope, is what helps us grow. And we feel like sometimes we're not going anywhere. We're going around in circles. But we are ending up somewhere. And part of the growth is that dance, that relationship that's going on with you and God as it goes through that. So, I know it's July, but go back and watch White Christmas. That's your assignment. Okay? And perhaps then you'll get a better insight in this. Have a good one. We'll talk to you later.